Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on Hacks and Hobbies. Today I am super excited to bring on my hold on. Welcome back to another episode of Hacks and Hobbies. Today we're thrilled to have Michael Fortinberry with us. Michael brings over 30 years of experience spanning technology, construction, and real estate. He's a trailblazer in combining technology incentives and company culture to maximize business performance. As a co-founder and COO of Protiv, Michael has developed innovative strategies to inspire hourly workers to reach their full potential. So let's jump in. I've got Michael right here with me. Michael, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast.
Oh, Nay, I'm super excited to be here and really grateful for you having us aboard. And it's been fun talking with you so far and looking forward to keeping it going.
Absolutely, man. So what's cool is that you come from a construction services industry, and then for over 30 years you've been in that space, but then something changed. And I think we're going to go deep into how that came about.
Yeah.
So can you start by sharing a bit about your journey and how you got started in the technology and construction industries?
Sure. Actually started originally on the real estate side and working with the
Mm.
real estate technology. And we had spun up a multifamily renovation company that working around the real estate space very tech forward. It was a very logistically challenging environment here in New York City to do large scale apartment renovation work. So we
Mm.
needed some really cool technology to functionally operate that company as we grew. Built a lot of it ourselves. And along that journey, we started trying to find ways to invest into our growing team. So as we had 30, 40, 50, 80, 100 plus people, we wanted to make sure that they were part of a family and that we were giving back to them. So that was the genesis of Protiv.
That's amazing. What inspired you to co-found Protiv? I know you mentioned that you founded Protiv, but it's a like you're a co-founder, you're not the founder. So tell me a little bit about who all is part of Protiv
Sure.
and how's that running?
Yeah, there was four of us originally at our construction company. And so two of us, because I had some tech background and David, my co-founder here,
Mm.
had been working deeply within the technology we developed at our construction company. So the two of us came out of the construction company to focus full time on Protiv. We have two other partners that still operate the construction company today. But the last just over 2 years now, we have been heads down building software,
Mm.
which I will share with you is a much different journey than developing out real estate platforms and construction.
Yeah.
It's it's really interesting, very challenging. A lot of respect out there to anybody who's ever started a software company from scratch.
Mm.
It is just as hard and crazy as they tell you it is.
You know, so it's interesting how you say it's really hard to start up a software company. And I think some people who are looking into starting a construction business would say exactly the same thing. But then because you come from that experience, you're like, nah, it's easy. You do this, this, and this, you're good.
Mhm. I think there's some truth in that. I think we're better at what we know, obviously. And
Mm-hmm.
for us, software, the challenge we found on the software side was we made mistakes about, what needed to be built. How did
Yeah.
something need to be built? the this mythical idea of product market fit, where you finally develop your software to the point that it really delivers on the value that you want it to. That journey from a blank piece of paper to that point
Mm-hmm.
is a lot different than I realized it would be. It
Yeah.
took longer than we expected. We had to listen to customers a lot more. We had to iterate a lot more software. And if anybody is going down that journey, I can't emphasize enough the importance of the conversations with your customers about what your platform is doing to solve their problems and how you
Yeah.
continually get it better.
I love that because it is a continuous product that you're evolving. They're getting experience back, and having a little bit of a UX design background myself, it totally makes sense. You're constantly updating, you're constantly making changes, you're constantly iterating that application. Can you give us the can you explain the concept behind Protiv and how it aims to
Yeah.
revolutionize the compensation structure for hourly wage workers?
It started with a funny thing. It started with a project, this job we were working on where we were renovating a lot of kitchens, and we had a
Mm,
schedule we were trying to keep within this project. And we needed our carpenters to finish this one part of the job in 8 hours instead of 10. It was taking them like 10 hours, really needed them done in one 8 hour day. And so we had a labor budget associated with the 10 hours. So I basically went to the carpenters, this one guy, Frank, and was like, in particular, I remember, I was like, hey, if you can finish this in 8 hours, I'll give you the money for the 10 hours. And just, but I need you out of here. And turns out he can actually do that work in about 6.5 hours. So once he knew that he was going to get all the money, right? It was his money.
yeah.
And there was this David, my co-founder, had some experience with some piece rate type production models years back. The problems with piece rate is that you get quality issues. So we needed a way to incentivize our team to do good quality work
Mm-hmm.
and to be productive at the same time. And so as we learned the lesson from those first few jobs, we started building out, essentially it was a spreadsheet originally, and as we
Yeah.
grew, it became software of how do you align the project budgets and goals and KPIs with the variable bonuses and compensation for hourly workers. It turns out nobody had really done that before. It
Mm,
really wasn't, you couldn't buy software to do it. Yet everybody talks about wanting to do it. We always
yeah.
want to reward performance.
Yeah.
So we started on a deep journey of everything from legal compliance to interfaces for the workers so they could understand what the budgets were so that they could see their opportunity to make more right on their phone.
Mm,
And as they could do that, what we learned is that your team begin to bring their brain to work instead of just their back.
yeah.
If you think about it, a lot of times we hire someone to do a task, dig this ditch, file this paper, type this letter, whatever, and do this accounting. What we get from them is this task, this their back, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
paying for their labor, for their back, but then you get a free brain.
Yeah.
Like every employee comes with a free brain. We just need to unlock it. And it's
Yeah.
amazing what they will do once they bring their brain in. Now they're thinking, now they're communicating differently. And that's really the journey that Protiv is on.
Man, that's so cool. It's almost like um, I'm part of, I've experimented with a lot of different software, for example, Uber and Lyft and whatnot, and you'll see that they'll incentivize you, like, hey, if you get on the road a little more, you'll get access to this bonus money, or if drive in these times, you get extra money. So they're incentivizing you to go out there more.
There are tons of quotes. If you just Google quotes about incentives and motivation, you
Hmm.
get all of these people, many of whom you've heard of, from Jobs to Munger to all these people. They talk about the incentive is the key. It almost defines human production. There's
Yeah.
one quote that I like. I wish I could remember the guy's name. Is an economist, like University of Chicago economist. He basically said that incentives, if you understand incentives, you basically understand all of economics. There's your PhD. Like
Wow.
that is human behavior in economic terms are driven by incentives. So how can we deliver that to the worker level? Many companies have incentive programs for mid-management, senior management, on bonus programs and have commission structures, et cetera.
Hmm.
How do I bring that down to my carpenter who makes $35 an hour, or my plumber making, $29 an hour, or
Yeah.
whatever that role is, what you're earning, regardless of that position, the trade, the task, how do I bring an incentive to you that's meaningful, that shifts the way you think about the work?
Yeah. No, that's really powerful. Talk to me about some of the key strategies that you've used to align company culture with business performance? Because I'm sure as you're building this software, as you're incentivizing the people in there, you have to build a culture around performance.
Yeah, you're it's like you're sitting in some of our meetings. The our software is pretty straightforward to use. It mostly
Mm,
runs in the background of other platforms that they operate. We coach people all the time that the key is your company culture adopting processes around what does it mean to have performance pay? And so as you start to dig into what is company culture, what is good company culture, if that's central to being successful with performance-based pay, what does that even mean? And so we've started a initiative to help companies evaluate and define within the construction space in particular, what is my culture and what could it be? And we
mm,
have this kind of building blocks of authenticity, of people, of communication and growth. And they build upon themselves to create a foundation, if you would, of company culture that can take you as far as you want
yeah,
to evolve your company and your organization.
I love that so much because it's they're now more involved in the entire process. It's not just a task
Amen.
anymore, right? They're like, oh my god, this feels like family, and then not only that, you're getting paid for that extra work, for that extra thing that you're doing, and then of course you're gonna bring in more of you to work better because as human beings, we want to find the shortcuts. And if you just tell me to do one task, I'm just gonna do that one task. I'm like, oh, you gotta pay me. But if you say, hey, how can this be done? I have no idea, but you bring in the brains, then people are gonna surprise you.
But you know what? Sometimes they'll bring you ideas that aren't any good, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they bring you really good ideas, something
Yeah,
you wouldn't have thought of, something that you're like, wow, I didn't, that's a great idea.
yeah,
That's an opportunity. If nothing else, the minute that they care, you're already winning as a leader. The
yeah,
minute you've got your team thinking and talking, you're already ahead of wherever you were going to be. So just do that. Do head down that road and engage with your team. But you have to be conscious that someone who is you're making 24 bucks an hour, you're making $35 an hour, you can't go out with an incentive program and say, well, we're going to pay you guys, you're going to make 1% of our net profit. We're going to distribute at the end of the year. Honestly, that it might as well
mm-mm.
be a death benefit. They don't think like that.
Yeah,
What they think about is, well, if I change my behavior on Tuesday, what do I get paid on Friday? You
mm,
got to connect what the important things to them, which is generally, remember, at a certain income level, is generally a safety need. I
yeah,
am trying to provide for my family. I'm trying to put a roof over my head and feed, my kids. And these things, I need to get paid differently. You can't tell
yeah,
me I'm gonna get a pizza party if we hit this metric. That's nice. Certainly can do that, but go back to the building blocks of how they're compensated and then build from that into other things. If you want to
mm,
have a pizza party for them, if you do that on top of making sure they're aligned to compensation and performance, now
yeah.
you're really winning.
I love that. Because you've built this into the technology, built it into the app. How do you see the role of technology evolving in the construction and real estate industries over the next decade?
So construction as a whole has lagged behind other industries' its adoption of tech.
Mm,
There's no secret to that in many ways. Productivity levels in construction are functionally stagnant going
wow.
back decades. We're arguably slower at building things now than we were in the 50s and 60s. Now,
Oh
some of
wow.
that's for good reasons. We have environmental controls, we have safety controls that, can slow things down, but that are in a positive outcome. However, we still aren't better and quicker at delivering the product. We
Mm,
have fewer people going into trades. So we don't have
sure.
enough of a labor force. We have flat production and I have increasing demand. The world needs 13,000 new buildings
Wow.
every day. And how are you going
That
to get
makes so
that
much
when you
sense.
750,000 workers short just in the
Yeah.
United States and getting worse? So we've got to create production from that universe. And there's a lot of technology flowing into that space around
Mm.
procurement, around the back office tools. And in our particular space, it's around how we drive quality and production at the worker level.
Dude, that's a powerful number, and I'm a stickler for numbers and stats, and I actually track the world population on the worldpopulation.com, and there's a 350,000 new babies being born, so it totally makes sense. That's you know to house them, you will need that much more space in the world.
Housing,
Now,
schools, hospitals, offices, grocery stores, all of it. It's more.
yeah,
And that's not talking about fixing anything we have now.
exactly,
You're just talking about building new stuff. So construction demand is increasing at the same time that we have problems getting enough people into it
yeah,
and a production problem. So this is a multi kind of front war to tackle that.
agreed.
And we see Protiv as part of it. There's some really cool things coming with robotics and AI that are impacting construction in very innovative ways. I have
Mm-hmm.
a friend of mine that's a company called uh, uh, oh God, jumped out of my head, PaintJet. And PaintJet is building robots for painting buildings.
Oh my God,
Very cool, right? I mean, they
yeah,
literally can spray the side of a building like 8 times faster than a person.
wow,
It's crazy the stuff that's coming. And so that will help with some of the labor shortage issues,
mm-hmm.
robotics over time. But it's not still not going to replace the plumber who comes to your
No,
house to fix your water heater,
yeah.
right? We've got a shortage of people that can do a lot of that work.
You're absolutely right, and then not just that kind of shortage. There's also 170,000 people dying every day, and in that there might be people from different walks of life, and that's also reducing the workforce at an alarming rate.
Yeah, we have an aging workforce in construction because not enough younger people are coming into it. And so
Mm-hmm.
you look 20 years into the future, we have a problem.
Yeah,
So we think Protiv is part of the solution to that problem.
I love that, man. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs looking to integrate technology into their businesses effectively?
Well, so I guess if you're an entrepreneur building a company, be selective about the platforms that you bring in and make sure they're
Mm.
adding real value. I have I literally just got done doing this whole evaluation of some of our spend in the last month, and turns out
Mm-hmm.
we're paying for a bunch of tools that, like, wow, we have a lot of software been running around, $50 a month here and $100 a month there. And I'm like, do we need all this? So, keep an eye on what you're spending because you can sign up for a lot of stuff pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think that's one element. The automation of data movement between companies, sorry, between platforms, I think is a growing opportunity. You think tools like Zapier as a way to move data around, which is it's cool. I wouldn't consider it a commercially scalable system though. It's too expensive and too
Yeah.
cumbersome. But at the end of the day, you need your data to be where you need it. And if you've got lots of systems, go into your journey with an idea of what that architecture is going to look like and how is data going to move between them. Or else you will end up spending your free time getting your data from where it is to where it needs to be. I have
Mm.
a friend, Chris, who has a company called Boolean, and he literally his whole business is effectively around getting your systems to talk to each other. And his thesis is, I'm going to free you up to do what you want to do instead of moving data between systems, which is what so many founders and owners of companies spend a lot of their evenings. I got to get out of this system and into this spreadsheet and load it
Yeah.
up into this one.
Yeah.
Painful. So think about your architecture of your systems, how they're going to talk to each other.
Man, that's an excellent advice. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back from the break, you'll share 3 actionable hacks that people can implement in their businesses. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, during this break, I just want to talk to you about the power of technology and the technology that enables us to not only share our messages, but in this world, there's AI, there's there's so much AI everywhere. The one tool that's enabled me to keep this podcast going so powerfully with the output and the input that I'm creating. Otter.ai has been really powerful to not only transcribe the podcasts that are coming from these conversations, but also be able to work with those transcripts. I've got a video on YouTube that you can watch. It talks about how I use AI with Otter.ai to make that uh, make sense of the conversation that we have. How can you convert that conversation into valuable insights that's not only going to shortcut the time that your audience spends on listening, but then it also pulls them in to go and listen to that episode, which is going to expand their mind even more. So check out otter.ai. There'll be a link somewhere here. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Back to the episode. There'll be a little jingle playing in the middle, and then we come back. Michael, it's been a lot of fun talking with you. This is, definitely insightful. I can't wait to get into this 3 hacks that you're gonna share, because you've been in this space for 30 plus year in construction, in technology, in real estate. I mean, it's a lot of different massive industries, and we're able to talk to you, and you've got the consolidated version, or you've got that decades of information that you can easily tell us, hey, focus on here, blah blah blah. So what are the 3 actionable hacks that our listeners can implement to inspire their hourly workers to reach their full potential?
You know, I think starting with when you start looking, I'm going to give you a couple of answers here because I think
Of course.
it's a great question. When you start talking about how you inspire your team as a whole, I hourly workers or any of them, first of all, make sure you're authentic about the culture you're building. Authenticity is a missing element, I believe, of a lot of company cultures. Because if you go and say, well, this is a great place to work and
Mm,
ABC, do you actually execute to that in real life? Not what you say, it is what the actual performance of that approach to culture is.
yeah.
If you polled your employees, would they say back to you what you would say on your website about culture?
Yeah.
Or do they say something else? And it's a function of authenticity. You need to be who you are. It's the only sustainable version of you, right? Everything else
Yeah.
is not sustainable. So be who you are and build your company culture in an authentic way so that when you're inspiring your people, they know what you're, who you are and what your expectations are and what you're really trying to deliver for them. We think about the second part to this, I guess, the second would be invest in your people at all levels, not just investing in, okay, I'm going to help you get promoted or I'm going to help you education wise. Well, maybe what they really need is flexible time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what they need is support to go back to school. Maybe what they're really going to do is leave your company and go start another company.
Mm,
Okay, that's what they're going to do. Go help them be successful with that. Help your employees be successful. I think it's a Zig Ziglar quote. If you help other people get what they want, you can have
yeah.
anything you want, some
Yes.
version, something like that. It's really good. And this is all about giving back to your people, that servant
Mm,
leadership. I think a lot of companies use this whole customer first idea, which sounds good on paper. The
mm,
reality, it's your people first, because your people are the one that actually provide the service or the product to your customer.
yeah.
So you take care of your people, and your people will take care of the product, and your product takes care of your customer. That's um, uh, oh gosh, what was the guy's name? He's got a book sitting right over here. Tom Peters. Yeah, thank you. Tom
Tom
Peters
Peters.
quote, right? You take care of your people first. And that's your role as a manager, as a leader. And I
Nice.
think if we can do those things, we're off to the right direction. And I would encourage anybody who's building a company listening, hire people who are already a lot better at whatever you're hiring them to do than you've ever been. It's you have to hire over yourself. You have to hire people
Mm,
better than you. If you're hiring a customer service manager, they better know more about customer service than you've ever thought of in your whole life. your salespeople, your tech people,
Yeah.
whatever the roles are in your organization, hire amazing talent. If you have to explain to them what to do, you get the wrong person, especially early stage of a company, right? Especially in the early days. They should just already be great. And so hire great people. There is almost no more critical first step in a stable growing organization.
I was suspecting that you would talk about people a lot, mainly because the entire idea of
Yeah.
building the company Protiv was to be people focused, was to empower people. So I really love the three hacks. Inspire your team as a whole, make sure that you're authentic, because it is absolutely a missing element, especially if you're a non-creator. If somebody you're not on camera all the time, it's hard to be authentic because you don't see yourself, right? You
Yes.
can be anything you want, but who we are as business owners, as leaders, it helps our people working with us see that you're the genuine article. Everything that you bring in, it's going to be authentic. Investing in people, man, that is so powerful because so little time we take as leaders to invest in our people, or we're just looking to get what we can from there, but investing back into them, even letting them go, I mean, that's even more powerful because
Yeah.
you're letting go of such a hard worker, somebody who is really smart, but there's only so much time that they can come and spend here with you, because of course you want them to grow and be successful. So I love that you're enabling and investing the people in all levels
Yeah.
and
We believe
hiring
in
them.
the people side. The people are the key, and
Yes.
Protiv's vision of the future is around how do we create a platform for workers that helps them achieve their goals and their dreams. And if we can do that, we'll be winning no matter what happens.
Yeah. Man, I love that. Love this conversation. It just warms my heart. Being a servant leader, being somebody who's always looking out for the others, and as parents, that's another thing that we're always doing. We're looking out for our kids, make sure that they're in the best hands possible.
Yep.
This was
You know,
fun.
the
I love
best
it.
part, though, I've
Hmm.
learned about being a parent is when you get
Yeah.
to become a grandparent. And I'll tell you, that is just as much fun as they tell you it is.
Yeah.
And your grandbaby is the cutest thing in the world. If she wants to stay up all night and eat ice cream, no problem. Jump
No
on the
problem.
back of the couch. Absolutely. I love it. It's the best. So
No, you're
super
you're
fun.
absolutely right. I'm not there yet. I've got younger kids. Oldest being 14,
Oh,
but I see my parents and I see my their grandparents and how much fun they have with them. It's definitely lights up my world.
yeah.
All right, man. The next segment is the fun six. These are six questions that I've been asking guests from, gosh, all over the world for the past few years, and we
Okay.
get into a really fun segment over here. So number one, what is the one hobby that you wish you got into?
Hobby that I wish I'd gotten into. I wish I'd played hockey when I was younger. I grew up
Mm,
too far deep south. We didn't have a hockey team, but I like hockey a lot. I like watching it, but I'm a terrible skater,
yeah,
so nobody wants me on their team. So yeah, I wish I'd taken up hockey when I was younger.
nice. Play ice hockey, not just hockey, because there's a different type of hockey, field hockey, where it doesn't require any skates.
Yeah,
Uh,
there is that. Maybe I should do that. I was like the idea you skate around super fast and
yeah,
carry a stick and hit people for no reason. It just seems like a lot of fun.
it is a lot of
So
fun for sure. Next up, what did you want to be when you were a child?
Oh, I was definitely going to be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys when I was a kid.
Nice.
And then it turns out I stopped growing and, anyway, it wasn't quite that. So, and I wanted to be a soldier and I picked that option. Those were my kind of paths, I think. And so I went straight to the Army out of high school.
Nice. Very cool. Thank you for your service, man.
Absolutely.
Next up, what is your favorite movie or television show?
Movies, TV, the greatest TV ever made was Band of Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
hand down, greatest 10 hours you'll ever spend in your life watching a television. I think what movies do I love? On the funnier side, I always like that movie Sahara
Mm.
Matthew McConaughey,
With
I
Matt
think, kind
McConaughey.
of
That
a
was a really fun one.
swashbuckling, fun kind of adventure movie. Um, I like Sicario a lot. It was a good movie. I was Star Wars generation, so you kind of can't go wrong there.
No, not
Probably
at
a
all. I
bunch.
mean, all the new stuff that Star Wars is bringing out. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but there's a
Can't.
lot of new stuff coming up, and
Yeah,
it's
can't
it's
keep up.
it's
Haven't even
it's it's
begun to
exciting.
try. So, yeah.
It's been very fun and exciting for being a Star Wars fan and a later in life. Like I didn't know about Star Wars till I came to the States, and that I didn't even find out
Yeah.
about Star Wars till um, Phantom Menace came out. I was like, what is this? Episode one, and then heard
Wow.
about the previous ones, and then I and caught up. So I'm
No, I
kind of
was
caught
in
up right now.
the heart of that generation in the
Yeah,
70s
yeah.
was me. I was that kid. So, long time
No,
ago.
no. There's a new show coming out, and it's the first episode is dropping on my birthday. I'm super excited. It's all about they're bringing Jedi's back in this show on
All
Disney
right.
Plus Acolyte. All right, next up, what movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
Oh, movie if I get to play a character in the movie. So I'm not that person in real life. I just got to be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's a good question. Think I think I want to be in Interstellar.
Hmm.
I've always wanted to go to space.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen unless I can write a big check. And so maybe astronaut, maybe they could simulate space and I
Mm-hmm.
could feel like I went.
Yeah.
So that could be pretty good.
That'd be pretty fun. In fact, there's and I think in Russia, or they call it Russia, right? In Russia, there's this company that you can go on this plane and basically goes up and down continuously, and then basically
Get
creating this zero
the
gravity,
weightlessness.
the
Sure.
weightlessness in there.
I mean,
Uh,
that sounds fun. Let's be in a big plane and plummet towards the ground so that we're weightless. That
yeah,
seems like a great idea. In an old Russian plane.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
what could go wrong? I
What
think
could
it's a
go
great
wrong?
idea.
What's
I would
funny
go
is that
tomorrow. So let's plummet towards the ground at
let's
600
do
miles
it.
an hour in an old Russian plane. Sure.
I
It's
don't know if
what
it's an old
That sounds
Russian plane.
perfect.
It's a Russian company, but there's a band called OK Go where they shot an entire music video on that plane, and
Fascinating.
they then cut it all together so they're completely weightless entire throughout the entire. And they like OK Go is one of those bands that does. They'll do a song like every song in a very different style. It's really fun to watch their stuff.
All right.
All right, next up, who is your favorite superhero?
Superhero side. Um, I don't know. I think recently I'm gonna have to go with Deadpool,
Hmm.
a little less politically correct.
Yeah.
Just to stretch it a little bit there.
Yeah.
My wife thinks that Hugh Jackman's really cute and Chris Hemsworth, so I can't pick either of those guys. So because she'll leave me for him, but I think I have to go with Deadpool.
I love
Yeah, I
it.
like his attitude.
No,
So good
Ryan
stuff.
Reynolds has definitely brought that character alive, and he was
Ah,
really
funny.
pissed when in one of the Wolverine movies, when he became Deadpool, they basically seal shut his mouth, so he
Yeah.
couldn't run his mouth like he does in Deadpool all the time.
Yeah, I think that that's not what that character should be. I think they've nailed
No,
it
they did.
with his current approach.
They absolutely
A lot of
did.
fun.
Yeah, can't wait for the new one. I think it's
Yeah, they're gonna
coming
put Hugh
July something.
Jackman back in character.
Oh my
He's
god,
getting
it's gonna be
a little old for all this. He
it.
lives right down the road from us here.
No way.
So yeah,
I have to send him a
he's
gift or
about he's
something.
I don't know, quarter mile down the road from us here. His apartment's I think a little bit bigger than mine.
Yeah.
So okay.
Love it. All right, next question and the last one is if you were a board game, what would it be?
A board game. That's good. Remember Stratego?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Strategio is like you
Yeah.
had the all you it's kind of like a crazy checkers and chess thing with you had to
Yeah.
hide your flag in the midst of it. That
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
kind of fun. Kind of and I don't think a lot of people know how to play it, so I might have an advantage. So definitely want to win. A little bit
No,
of strategy,
yeah.
a little bit of thinking, chess, checkers, kind of all thrown together.
No, I like that. That sounds a lot of
Or
fun.
Risk. I always
Or
like
Risk.
Risk as a board game.
I think
So
that's a
that
good
was a
one
good
too.
one.
No, those are two really powerful board games for sure. Well, Michael, thank you so much, man. Where can my audience find you?
Oh, if anybody wants to email me directly, Michael@protiv.com, Protiv. Obviously, our website, protiv.com, has got a lot of information on there. Happy to help anybody who, whether they're on an entrepreneurial journey and just looking for a shoulder to cry on or whatever, ideas. I totally get it. Done this a couple of times now. Or, if you're truly, looking at, you've got an hourly workforce and you're trying to develop an incentive model, whether you're using hours or just any approach, I'm happy to help people down that road.
Nice, man. Thank you so much, Michael. This has been a
Yes,
lot of
sir.
fun, and you know, appreciate your time, your energy, your wisdom, the hacks that you shared. The journey has been strong, and I really enjoyed talking with you. And of course, the fun six helped bring us even closer together. I mean, I had no idea that you're a Star Wars fan, right? You grew up on Star
Yeah,
Wars,
who knew?
but now we have another level of connection. So super excited.
Another connection.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Yeah, very
Well,
grateful. Thank you so much for having me here, and hope your audience finds this amazing.
absolutely, it's gonna be. It definitely brought a lot of opened my mind a lot. Helped me think about things another different way. So thanks again. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. We were talking with Michael Fortinberry. This was a lot of fun. If you have any questions for him, reach out. Check the show notes for links. He also shared his email address and the website protiv.com. Any questions? Just drop them in here, and we'll be happy to answer them. Until next time, we'll catch you in the next episode.